The Sports Renegades podcast on SportsTownChicago.com.
Say what's on my mind at any given time of day, cause I'm a renegade. Never been afraid to holler about anything.
All right, welcome in to the Sports Renegades here on SportsTownChicago.com. I'm Ryan Stuprich.
And I'm Ryan Risky, and joining us on the SportsTownChicago.com hotline is John Arguello of Cubs Den. John, how's it going?
Pretty good, thanks. How are you?
We're doing pretty well. Excited to have you call in.
Yeah, and, I guess to start off the show, I guess we kind of want to know a little bit of an outlook on spring training and what your first impressions of spring training and what you're going to be trying to look for in spring training.
When it first starts, it's you're not gonna see a whole lot. You're gonna really kind of see what kind of shape these guys are in, what kind of and they'll be doing a lot of drills. You'll be seeing what they'll be working on. I'll be probably hanging on the backfields a lot, so I want to see what the Cubs are going to do with a lot of their prospects. Ian Happ playing second base is one of them. So, in the beginning there isn't a whole lot to see, but once spring training starts, you're just going to look for what we would call like process. You're going to want to see guys put up good at bats. You're going to want to see them work counts. You're going to want to see them go the other way, maybe shorten up with 2 strikes for hitters. And for pitchers, it's really just about getting warmed up and throwing strikes, getting ahead on the count and things like that. So early on, we really shouldn't expect too much, and numbers really don't mean much in the spring. They're looking more about how players are going about as far as their approaches and things.
Mm-hmm. All right, and on the pitching side of things for the Cubs, do you think that they did enough in the offseason to address the need?
I think they would have liked to have gotten a second pitcher, a young, cost-control pitcher, but, the deal just wasn't there for them, and a lot of teams were asking a lot for them. They were asking for players like Baez and Soler, plus good prospects, so there wasn't anything out there that they felt was good value for them. So but they got John Lackey, which they got at an incredible value. They got him at a 2-year deal, and he pitched about as well as anybody, and he's getting up there in age, but he's a legitimate number 3 starter. He's a horse. He's a guy who's going to eat some innings for them in the middle, something they really didn't have last year because they had to go with Hamill and Hendricks, and they're good pitchers, but they're not, especially in the second half, they're not guys who go deep in the games, and that puts a little bit of stress on their bullpen. So having Arrieta, Lester, and Lackey as your front 3, that makes it more of a playoff caliber rotation.
And I wanted to ask you about Jason Hamill, because I think we assumed at the end of the season that he wouldn't be with the team, but here he is. He's technically the 5th man right now, and I just wanted to get your impression on how you think that will play out, and if you think that he has a future with the Cubs.
Oh, I do. I think he does. I think not only is he their 5th man, I think they consider him their 4th guy right now.
Yeah.
And we forget that Hamill he's had a couple of pretty good halves, and then he tends to wear down in the second half. He's done that both seasons since he signed with the Cubs. Of course, his fall in the first season was with the A's, so where he kind of tailed off at the end of the season. So they're looking to make him a little bit more. He's working out to be a little bit more, get a little bit more durable, and being able to last longer into the season with his good stuff. Being able to go deeper in the games late in the season. He did have that hamstring injury. I don't know how much that had to do with his fall off last year. I think they're just hoping, stay healthy and give us good innings, and at least pitch 6-7 innings late into the year and keep the team in the game. And I think he could be an okay fourth starter. I think they really still believe in him. And we see him when he's good. When he's good, he's very good. He's as good as anybody out there. So, hopefully that he'll have a bit more stamina this year.
Now, and the Cubs also made a big free agent signing in Jason Hayward. What kind of outlook do you have for him this season? Do you expect him maybe to show a little more power here at Wrigley Field and improve on his ground ball rate that he set a career high in last year? And how will he adjust to playing center field as it looks right now?
Well, I think, what they're looking for Hayward is they don't need power. I don't think they're going to ask him to say, hey, we need you to be a middle-of-the-order guy. I think they just want him there for what he is, which is to grind out at bats, to get on base, and if someone leaves one in the wrong spot, he's going to take it out. So I don't think they're going to want him. I don't think they're going to put too much pressure on him to hit for power. And playing in center field, you don't really look a lot for power from your center fielder. The Cubs are going to get it from Schwarber and left and Soler and right. So to me, that isn't going to be a big thing. I think they just want good at bats. I know Epstein talked about the one he grinded out there against Arrieta in the playoffs and hit a home run off of him. That's kind of what they're looking for. Even if the result isn't a home run, it's just those kind of at bats. And we talked a little bit about this on our blog too. Is he handles power pitchers pretty well. He didn't do that so much last year, but I think that's something that they brought him in for as well, especially right-handed power hitters. He kind of neutralizes that slider a little bit, and he'll make them work. So those are two things. I don't think they're going to ask him to be a star. They've got stars already, or stars in the making. As far as the center field, yeah, I think he can handle it. He's a good athlete. He's fast. He gets incredible reads and jumps. He's got a great arm, accurate. There's no reason why he can't be a good center fielder. I mean, he's great in right field. That's where he's a Gold Glover. But he's going to be an upgrade from Fowler in center field. There's no doubt in my mind about that.
Yeah, he's probably the best defensive fielder in all of baseball. And, of course, he's also entering his prime now, so we got to like that. And I wanted to ask you about Addison Russell, too. Is he 100%? Is he going to be 100%? 100% for spring training and moving forward?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's a hamstring injury, but he's had a lot of time to heal from it. He should be fine. He's somebody that we're not a lot of people are talking about, Addison Russell. But he really was a big key to last year. He really stabilized that infield defense. Not only him playing a better shortstop than Castro did, but Castro moving to second, he played a pretty good second base once he was there. So that really put the team forward, and it gave him a more stable defense. It's going to be more so with Zobrist, who's going to make the plays he's supposed to make. So the Cubs should have a better infield there. But, I think we'll see a little bit more from Addison Russell in hitting. I mean, he's been moved quickly through the system. He's still, 21 years old?
Yep.
He's kind of just shot through the minors, not spent full years in any one level, and he's going to be able to kind of get his feet on the ground now, and I think we might see a little surprise, maybe even better than the projections we're seeing from Addison Russell. I think we're going to see him hit for a little power. I think we're going to see a little bit more patience as he gets to know pitchers, and he put up pretty good at bats last year, but I think we'll even see better this year.
Now with Addison Russell, How much do you think his bat might develop from last year to this year? Like what a reasonable expectation would be?
I think we'll see him hit for a little bit of power. Maybe let's say 15 homers or so, and I think we could see him hit about 270, 280. And considering the defense he gives, that's going to be a really nice production from the shortstop position. I think we'll see a bit more walks, a little less strikeouts. And it's just for him getting used to the speed of the league and understanding pitchers. So I expect to see an incremental improvement there. He works hard. He's not a guy who's going to be, I'm a talented guy and I'm just going to, rely on that. He's going to go to work and he's going to learn how to be a better hitter. And I think he's going to surprise some people. I mean, you see those projections and they look kind of so-so, but I think he'll surpass those this year.
And staying with the infield, what kind of role and how much playing time do you think we'll see from Javier Baez this year, assuming that he makes the team out of spring training?
Yeah, Javier Baez is a real nice wild card for the Cubs, and he plays real good defense. He's just, he's a baseball rat in a sense. You put him anywhere, you give him a glove, you say, "Hey Javier, can you play this?" and he can do it. He played center field, and from what we hear, he played pretty well out there. He likes playing the outfield. He's been a good, excellent at second. I think third base has been his best position so far. But he also is a pretty good shortstop. And you'll even have some scouts say he's got more raw ability there than Russell as far as on the tools on defense. That's up for debate, but that says a lot about what what people think about Javier on defense. And, of course, he's going to get that occasional dinger for you. He's going to hit some home runs. He's not quite ready to be a consistent hitter. I think they're going to have to match him up. Maybe kind of rest him against some right-handed power pitchers a little bit. Give him some nice matchups so he can kind of ease into a role. We saw, like with John Lackey, you leave the ball out there and you make a mistake, he's going to take it out. And he took that one. I think we'll leave us out to right field. So I think that's something that he's working out as well. It's more of an all-fields approach. We saw him working deeper in the counts. We saw some improvement. He's still got a ways to go, though. But I think if they keep him on the bench and they give him good matchups, I think they'll give him pretty good production.
And when you look at the NL Central and you see the Cubs and Cardinals and Pirates, it's going to be very competitive again. And that makes me think if the Cubs are going to do another, are going to try to do some deals at the trade deadline to set themselves apart from the Cardinals and Pirates, because for this first half of the season, it'll probably be a very close race.
Yeah, there's just three really good teams, and the Cubs probably have made a little bit more improvement over the offseason than the Cardinals or the Pirates. I don't even think there's a problem. I think we could say that for certain. But the Cardinals are also going to get a boost from a full season of Piscotty and Grichuk, and they might get some internal improvement from guys like Colton Wong, who might get a little bit better. So they've got some things going for them. Adam Wainwright's coming back. They picked up Mike Leake, who seems to kill the Cubs for whatever reason. Everybody except for Chris Coughlin, he seems to be able to get out pretty regularly. So they should be still very, very competitive. They're still a team, and they're always, throughout their history, they've been a team that they lose players and they just seem to find somebody else that comes in and replaces them and plays just as well. And I don't expect any different from the Cardinals this year. So I think that's going to be tight. The Pirates are a younger team. They have one of the best young outfields in baseball, and so we can continue to see improvement, especially from Marte and Polanco. And the one thing that scares me a little bit about the Pirates is, they've got Liriano, who's tough on the Cubs, and Garrett Cole, who's tough on everybody. Mm-hmm. But they've also got guys coming up through the system like Glasnow, who looks like he can maybe another ace in the making. He's a tall guy with, sharp downhill playing. He's nasty stuff. He's another guy who's going to be tough to hit in that rotation. He's going to pair up really well with their top two. And then they got some wild cards with Talion and maybe even Jesse Biddle. I know he's coming off an injury, so he may not be ready to contribute quite yet. But they've got some power arms up there, and that could they could cause some problems as well.
Now, as far as the catching situation goes, do you think that Kyle Schwarber can end up being the everyday catcher, or do you think right now it's looking more likely that he'll just stay in the outfield and Wilson Contreras will be the everyday catcher once Miguel Montero leaves?
That's a good question. The Cubs still say they believe in Schwarber as a catcher, and I think they like a lot of those intrinsic qualities that he has. He's smart. He just knows how to talk to people. And that's kind of a big deal. You got to be a leader behind the plate, and that's what Kyle Schwarber brings. And, they have a lot of faith that he'll be able to manage the game well. He's really working on some of the things. He's not the athlete that Contreras is. And Schwarber's not a bad athlete, but Contreras is a very good athlete for a catcher. But he's not going to be able to block the pitches or throw the runners out the way Contreras does. And we can see that can be an important part of the game, too. And I think the Cubs missed that a little bit in the playoffs. That is not a strong point of Miguel Montero, but it is, or should be, one of Wilson Contreras. And he's a guy who's a great athlete behind the plate. He can really move back there. He can block pitches. He can throw. And from what I understand, he's been really working on shortening his arm action on his throws to be able to get a quicker release to enhance that arm strength even more. So he's somebody who can control the running game, but he's still learning the nuances of the game. He hasn't been a catcher for very long. They want him to be able to do the pitch framing and the pitch calling and the game management to manage his pitchers. And that's something that I'm out here in Arizona, so I got to see him working on that, and it seemed to be something he really, really took a lot of pride in. He was out there going to the mound. I remember one particular game where Austin Bryce, a relief pitcher with the Marlins, or relief prospect with the Marlins, was facing Gary Sanchez, who was one of the best power hitters down there.